Now let's say you only ask me to do something specific, like just seeing your future, because everybody wants to know what's in the future for them, which is really good. I always favor the future readings because you get to see what awaits for you and you have time to change it. That's why I always say that if your future might seem like it's bad, there's possibility it will change based on what you do right now. Sometimes though, I don't get enough information from what I see, which gets hard, so that's why I need to do them in some formation. So that's sometimes why when you ask for the future, I can give you some of your past, because then it would make more sense to me, like, about your future. Yes, it's weird, it's a weird concept, but that's how it works. So usually for the future, what I do is pull 6 cards. 4, 5, yeah, let's leave it 6. And then we just read them, and usually it works that this would be like your, I don't know, even today's day, and then you'll go like, I don't know, tomorrow or a week or so, then we go for a month, and then we go deeper, deeper, deeper. Sometimes even goes for like farther in like a year or two. Sometimes just doesn't want to go there. Sometimes it really just gives me a card like, nope, future is locked, can tell you, which is not a bad thing. It's good, but that could sometimes mean that you have a blockage on you, which is not good, but it doesn't harm you that much. Now, after I'm done with all of my readings, sometimes I have a huge line that can last longer than the days I set up. Also, I will go briefly about the days I set up and why it doesn't matter. So, after I'm actually done doing my cards, I take a minute to just say thank you to them, which would just make me, put them in my hands like this. Sometimes I cover up all the way. Sometimes I put these to like my third eye, which is my forehead, and just, take a moment to appreciate their work. Sometimes it even means that I will just, exchange energies with them, which was more of like recharging yourself. And sometimes I have to work really fast because I have a lot of people, like I said, and which would mean that I don't really go into depth. So for example, I can have a spread for you, and then I just take a picture right away, not even starting to read right away, and then I move on, and then that's how I figure out which one is yours and then which one is different people. And that sometimes means that even if I'm confused on what does the card mean, because one card can mean legit a lot of things, like any card means a lot of things, and sometimes it's hard to understand what it means. And happens that like I have one card, I don't know what it means, I go back to my deck, ask for help, and I just pull out another card which explains and goes into depth about the other card, which helps. But if I take pictures, I don't have that ability, so it takes me longer to define it, and everything comes out pretty accurate. So it really doesn't matter if I move fast or not. Just that's why you sometimes have to wait longer. Now, to talk about the specific dates I do these on, if some of you noticed, maybe some of you didn't, but that's the time when the moon changes. When we have the full moon and the new moon are the times when I'm doing my cards for everyone. That's because on the full and the new moon, gates of the universe are open wider, so I get more information since I work with the moon more, and it helps a lot to see what's, in your fate and what's in your past and so on. And yes, sometimes it happens that, it's way over the new moon or the full moon, and I'm still doing the readings, and yes, the information does not come up as accurate, but it still follows the same concept of it being pretty, good and pretty accurate. It's just that I don't get to see as much as I would on those dates. And it doesn't have to even do with a lot of people that I have. It sometimes just has to do with me, how I'm feeling, because sometimes there are people who can ask, and then I feel after that I just feel so tired and I just can't do another ones because I have a headache and it's just not possible for me to even read or shuffle my cards thinking about stuff. So that's when I stop, and then I just put it for another day. It's not your problem though, it's my problem. That's my mistake. Sometimes that's my apologies to you there. But I tried to do the as much people as I can on those days, and yeah. So now a few things for my baby witches who are just getting into the cards and stuff. Here's the thing, like I said before, get yourself this pack first. This one is the most basic one, the first card ever that was available to actual, I'd say, human who could just go purchase and start working with these. So it has a lot of original meanings. Although I have to warn you that sometimes if you get this deck and then you get another deck, cards will have different meanings. They will look somewhat the same, but they will be different in their meanings, which is not bad. It's just the different author applies different meanings into the cards and how it sees it and how it feels about them. So it's totally fine. Just that you are aware. Cards are different based on their decks, and this one can help you learn about the cards and their behaviors in general. So once we get it, you open up your deck. When I had my first deck, my hands were sweaty. I felt like I was on a date. I felt really nervous for some reason. I didn't even think that, cards, really cards can make you feel that way. And no, I don't feel like, I love my cards, but like, there was certainly some kind of like, ooh, wow, the power I have, And what has to happen is that you get your cards, 78 of those babies, and you're gonna take one by one, and you're gonna make sure that you look at the drawing itself, that you look at the people's faces, how are they like mimicking things, what are they doing in the cards. You'll try to learn, you'll see the background, you will see what the person is doing, you will try to like pretty much combine the numbers and the names of the cards together in your head. So then when somebody be like, 3 of swords, and then you right away think of the heart that is, pierced with the swords. That one is actually the most popular one. I'm using it as an example. I'm gonna find it in a second, but that is important. So then you get to like see your cards, you get to feel pretty much everyone's energy. And I remember the first thing that I was doing when I got my cards, so I'd be grabbing one card by one and I'd be putting them under my pillow. Oh, here's the 3. See, it's pierced heart. It usually means broken love. Everyone loves that card. It's beautiful. But I'd sleep with every card. So that means I take a card, I stare at it for like a good 5 minutes, just really staring at the background and trying to, see what it's gonna tell me, like what will pop up in my mind first. And then I put it under my pillow and then I go to bed. And then usually the dream you have, sometimes you'll not have any dreams. It's okay. It still lives in your subconscious mind, something about the card. So then when you have to do a reading, you don't even have to have this book anymore. Like, I don't need to use it anymore because I've been working with these for a pretty long time, so I know everyone's meaning. But you would not even need this anymore because you're just able to look at the card and be like, oh, that's what it means, and you just move on from there. Like I said, you need to respect your cards. Make sure that when you work with them, you work in a clean space. Make sure your hands are clean. Make sure you don't just, done eating your Takis and then like right away, let's go see what's my future like. No. Your cards can eventually just stop working, and as much as you try to cleanse them and stuff, they're just not gonna cooperate with you. So, have respect for them. Also, I can say one more time about blood cleansing, it's not that important. You don't have to do it unless you feel like I said before that if you see your fire start to do a crazy dance and then you feel like there's something bad in the room, maybe you should cleanse your deck. That is all up to you, but if you feel the need to, you could. The way I do it is just that simple. I just like pretty much wave the deck in the fire, and that's do it. Sometimes people use crystals. I'm not a crystal witch. I don't use these. I use candles. So yes, that is like pretty much anything you want to use for cleansing, you can do that. I sometimes leave my cards out for the moonlight so they can, you know, charge, cleanse, whatever. That doesn't, you know, it just makes me feel comfortable that way. And yes, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. If you guys have more questions even after this video, I'm pretty sure you guys would, because I feel like I've been pretty much confusing even more people. But yeah, if you have more questions, you can leave a comment. You can, you know, personally talk to me, and we'll try to figure things out. So yeah, have a good day. Make sure you are safe. Make sure there's no bad spirits in your house. And make sure that, you know, you're being respectful to the person who does those cards for you. I had people who were like, yeah, okay, sure, so when will I lose my virginity or something like that. That is rude. That is very rude. Don't ever say that, because you don't know what kind of power I hold. So you don't know what can happen to you. Be respectful to one each other. Be respectful to the materials you work with. Also, if a person gives you an advice based on what they see in their deck, listen to it. I had a few times in my life when I already put like, I kind of have guilt for giving a reading to a person, and then my cards were really just screaming like, if they will not change their life, they are right away gonna get in danger. And I told that to a person, and I was like, please rethink of what you're doing, because that might just harm you. And the person didn't listen. She blocked me, and I found out that she got into a hospital because of her stupid decisions that she made. And yes, so the lesson, the moral of the story, always listen if those babies are trying to tell you something, even if it's to dump your lovey boyfriend because, you know, he will break your heart, and you'd be like, well, I don't want to listen to them because I don't know. Think about it. Okay, be respectful. If you ask me to do this and then you don't even like want to listen to me, then what was the point? You just pretty much wasted your own energy for something you're not gonna, you know, listen to. That is just being dumb. So be respectful, always listen. Make sure that, you know, you're thankful to the person who helps you with your stuff, and, you know, good luck, stay safe.